to discuss the principles underlying this continuing surge of money to Afghanistan. I'm delighted to be joined by the British ambassador to Afghanistan, Dominic Jermey, something of an Afghan specialist. Tell me in broad terms, why is Afghanistan still worth spending so much money on from the international community's point of view?
Well, Afghanistan remains unfinished business. We've been committed to supporting a peace process in Afghanistan and supporting the development of Afghanistan for over 15 years now. And we've seen a great deal of progress in that time. I remember Afghanistan during the Civil War 20 years ago, and since then we see maternal mortality dropping enormously, access to healthcare dramatically improved, kids in school for a start. When I was in Afghanistan 20 years ago, there wasn't a single girl actually in school, and now there are over 3 million. And we, the international community, have been part of helping make that happen. But if we want to see a stable Afghanistan that can take its place in the region and at the international table, then we have to stick with this project, and that's why we continue to invest.
There are continuing concerns, however, aren't there, about corruption, which is endemic in Afghanistan. What are you asking the Afghans to do about that?
Well, part of this conference is about mutual accountability. So for the United Kingdom, we are offering over $1 billion in development assistance to Afghanistan over the next 4 years, and other countries are also stepping up to the mark. But we need to be able to tell our taxpayers and the people of Afghanistan that that money is being spent responsibly. So only a few days ago, we saw President Ghani inaugurate an anti-corruption justice centre. And this is a really important institution. It's one of the commitments Afghanistan made in May this year at the London Conference Against Corruption. And it shows that the government is getting its story in order to tackle corruption and to show to ordinary Afghan citizens that the culture of impunity has come to an end, and that's vital.
One of the things that came out this week was this issue of migration. The spike in Europe of 2015 has caused all sorts of political fallout here, and it seems to have influenced, to a certain extent, the European Union's development strategy. As we understand, there is a deal in place separate from what's being discussed here, but still for the Afghanistan government to return tens of thousands of migrants from Europe and asylum seekers as well. Some people in the NGO community particularly feel that is a bit of bullying. Do you feel that it's appropriate to link aid with migration in that way?
Well, actually, Simon, you're absolutely right. It is separate from the Afghanistan conference, and so it is a very discrete thing. The joint way forward between the European Union and the government of Afghanistan is about having an orderly process for the government of Afghanistan to meet its international obligations under international law. That's what it is. It's to help this happen in a regular way that will not cause massive impact. But the conference here as a whole and the development support is about many things, but that includes trying to create the jobs and stimulate the private sector that's going to make Afghanistan the kind of place that, in particular, young men who have been leaving Afghanistan will want to remain in, and they will want to remain part of the legitimate economy and not be attracted to migration, but as crucially, not be attracted to fighting for terrorist groups or to the drugs trade.
One last question, and brief, if possible. Many speakers have mentioned the necessity, the importance of re-energizing the peace process, that all this development is well and good, but without a deal with the Taliban, it's all built on fragile sand, so to speak. Can you see a peace process getting up off the ground?
I can. It's going to be a long, slow process. We, the UK, learnt that in Northern Ireland, but there is going to be no way that the government of Afghanistan, supported by the international community, can fight its way to peace. There has to be an inclusive Afghan-led peace process, and we will do all we can to support that.
Ambassador Jermey, thank you very much for joining us.